In the ruins of the ancient civilization, old scripts of two unknown weapons were discovered. The scholars of the guild were surprised and impressed of how much differences those two weapons had than today's weapons. First difference, those two weapons were charged, and both of these weapons had file system. You can call them a switchy weapons because they change their shape to give different techniques during hunting. After studying deeply these two weapons, the scripts were given to the most experienced blacksmith, and after forging them, two of the most powerful weapons in Monster Hunter were finally born. One is based on a sword and shield and a great axe. It was called the Charge Blade, and the other was based on both axe and sword. The axe was more mobile and the sword was elemental. It was called the Switch Axe, or as our community today call it, the swax. I hope I can talk about the Charge Blade today, but today's video is about the swax. Can you believe this? Two weapons in one weapon. The swax. A weapon was added to the third generation of Monster Hunter and was its new theme because it's a new weapon, of course. I cannot say the least about this weapon because it's one of the most exciting, addictive weapons in Monster Hunter. The slashes and the explosions it does are unmatchable with the other weapons. Its mechanic is different from all of the Monster Hunter weapons except the Charge Blade. And there is no question because both of these weapons are from the old ancient civilization. And today I'm gonna include it in the playlist of I finally tried the weapon, and today I finally tried the swax in Monster Hunter. And actually I've tried it before because, as I said, it's one of the most exciting weapons. And to be more specific, I have been playing with this weapon since 3U or third party because I played the swax in both games. Today's video will be different because I'm not gonna include the first and the second generations of Monster Hunter because this weapon was newly added to the third generation only than the next titles of Monster Hunter. And of course, they won't remove the weapon since they added. Okay, before starting, don't forget to switch this button as you switch your switch axe. Okay, that was a bit cringy. Anyway, no training is needed in this video. I'm going to hit the monster directly and give you my full impression about this weapon. What I love mostly about the swax that I can switch the gameplay when I need to. For example, if I need more mobility and fast slashes, I just switch to the axe because it's more mobile. But if I needed more elemental damage or damage output, I just switch to that switch sword. This weapon is good at mobility but is not the best. I can rank it at medium mobile weapon. You are moving like a weeb stick user when you are using axe, and moving like a great sword user when you are using the switch sword. So the state of the weapon will determine your mobility and limitations. And what I love the most about the swax, that it has a file system. The file system of it is a bit different because some switch axes will use exhaustion file, and exhaustion is not an element, it's a status effect. Same for paralysis and poison. And some other swax will use thunder, ice, fire files. So there is unlimited builds you can do with this weapon. It's not an aerial weapon, so most of your time you are on the ground. And we don't forget about the explosion it does. So it's one of the explosion weapons, and it has one of the highest damage outputs in the game. So I envy you, switch axe users, but still, the great sword is better, in my point of view at least. Enough yapping. Now let's talk about the generations and the difference between each one of them. We will start where it was added firstly, the third generation. The combos were the best as a new weapon. It didn't lack anything. The mobility was great, the damage output was great, and everything just was great. I mean, look how I'm dodging this green Nargacuga. It's what can I say about it? It's better than the weeb stick itself. Even though the weeb stick was the best weapon in the third generation. Says who? Says the weeb stick user. I mean, look at this. I'm destroying this Nargacuga. And for the fourth generation, there wasn't much added. It was great, it's still great. I just want to talk about Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate because the Demon Riot and those arts were the best ever. They inspired the next generations of Monster Hunter. But I won't talk about Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, I'll talk about Monster Hunter World, the fifth generation. And here is the big difference for all of the weapons most of the weapons got new combos. Same for the switch axe. It got its new combos. And the most noticeable one is the gauge change. The more you are using your switch sword, the more this gauge will increase. And when it reaches its full, the gauge will start shining. And then if you did your elemental discharge, this time will be different. You will grab into the monster and start discharging your weapon into that part you grabbed into until it explodes. And you can do this up to 3 times, so this is even better. For Monster Hunter Rise, the combos were better because of the wire bug mechanic, especially for the skills. You can be more mobile with wire step, or you can counter some attacks with the elemental burst counter. And of course, the best gameplay is for Monster Hunter Wilds because of both the focus mode and the gauge difference. The focus mode made it easier to dodge attacks and be more mobile, and the gauge is now different. For the elemental discharge, you cannot just grab the monster if the gauge is full, but you can now do a charged elemental discharge. After bursting your elemental discharge, you can now charge it more with some new combo. Wilds just got the best gameplay ever for most of the weapons, of course. So for the final question, what do I think about the swax? What do I think about the switch axe and Monster Hunter as a whole? It differs from one generation to another, but I'll be general here. And since it was added to the 3rd generation, until now the switch axe still one of the best weapons in Monster Hunter, and of course I won't make it lesser than the S tier. Well deserved swax. Swax mains, what do you think about your weapon? Tell us in the comments, and those who didn't try it, please give it a chance. Anyway, don't forget about this and vote for the next weapon video. See you soon. Happy hunting.